Hello everyone, my name is Christine of Hollis Hands Create, also known as McMama Hollis on Instagram. Welcome to my floss tube, episode number 67. Today is Wednesday, April 16th, day after tax day. So welcome back. If you are a returning viewer, I'm so glad that you are joining me. And if you've wandered into my channel by accident, I hope that you'll stay and maybe find something a little bit inspiring and you'll want to continue to watch and come back and visit. Again, thank you to my subscribers and commenters and watchers and who return, and I so appreciate it. It's been just a minute since I filmed. I believe the last time was probably, March 2nd. So it's been about 6 weeks. I've had a lot of life happening, but I wanted to jump on because life is getting ready to continue for me on Friday with a knee replacement. So I wanted to jump on and visit with you just a little before that happens. And because after that, I'm just, not 100% sure what my schedule's going to be like. As I, other than I know I have a lot of physical therapy appointments already made. But anyway, so since I've spoken to you, we've gone to market. I've gone to Italy. We've got a new grandbaby, a beautiful big boy. I shouldn't even say little boy, big boy. And we've come home then to begin to prep for surgery. So it's been a bit crazy. But I just want to jump on. Let me go through some things. I want to kind of go through. I've got some finishes, not too much in whip stuff to show, because fortunately I was able to get some finishes. I'm going to kind of run through my market faves. I know you've probably already watched quite a few market wrap-up type videos. I'm just going to go through kind of what my faves were. And I got just a tiny bit of haul, and let's see what else. Oh, we need to talk about the Hollis' Summer Holiday Sale if you're joining me, and I do have some giveaways. So I will go through. I'm going to move through fairly quickly today. It's early in the morning, Wednesday morning, but I've got a lot of work to do today, as today's kind of my last big full day of working in the shop. So here we go. All right. Let's do market first, since that's kind of I like to do things in a little bit of a chronological order as they happen through my month. Excuse me. So let's do market faves first. So the first thing I'm going to show you is not something that was generally released to the public, but one of my absolute favorite designers and rooms to go into is Vicki Jeanette from Needlework Press. She and I share, or maybe I should say that I share with her obsession for antiques and all old things sewing and stitching and needlework. And so she always has extra little goodies in her room. And I was able to purchase this 1800s French portfolio. Now, you can tell, obviously, that it's, it's got some issues, right? But look at this just most delicate stitching. And this is velvet all on the edge. And this truly is a portfolio. I'm having to be very careful with it here. So here it says notes and diverses, letters répondus. This opens up so that you put those things in there. There's your blotter paper, and this actually says, it's got some French writing and then and says Paris. And look at here, this is so beautiful. So I was able to pick this up from Vicky, and I was just absolutely thrilled. This is kind of like it's almost like a combination between a linen and paper. It's like a webbing almost. I'm not sure. And then they stitched in, into it, and then obviously, affixed it onto the inside of the portfolio page or the cover. But anyway, so I was very excited. I haven't displayed it yet. I've been waiting to share it with you. Anyway, so that was probably my true favorite from Market. But unfortunately not something I can share with everybody else other than through this method. So we'll move on. The next thing that was I have to get for me comes from Kathy Barrick, and it's another excuse me, antique that was a velvet, a theorem painted on velvet that Kathy found at an antique market in Pennsylvania. And she said as soon as she saw it, she knew she had to turn it into cross stitch. And as soon as I saw it, I knew I had to stitch it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And I already have plans to stitch this with Olivia, my friend Olivia from Pumpkin Hollow Quilts. And I'm very excited about this. So those antiques are pretty cool the way they inspire us. So velvet to linen. So that was one of my favorites. Another favorite was Joy from Shakespeare's Peddler. And this one I actually already have kitted with, this is some flagstone, 40 count flagstone from Lakeside. And I have there was a thread pack, a Gentle Art thread pack that came with, or actually it didn't come with, it was available from Gentle Art to be able to purchase to stitch. And it includes 3 limited edition threads. And unfortunately, Gentle Art is already out of all the limited edition threads. And they did make that, pretty clear when they started this process that those thread packs would only be available for a certain amount of time. I tried to purchase as many as possible. They would only let me purchase 25 of those thread packs. But they have actually emailed, and I do have listed in the shop listing for Joy what very good substitutes for those 3 limited edition threads are. And we have those available in the shop, so you can choose those. The other 3 were already from the regular line. Old Red Paint, Parchment, and Sable were from the regular line. Pretty Pink, Green Bean, and Spring Rain were the 3 limited editions. And like I said, we've got some substitutes recommended, and so those are in that listing if you're interested. The next one that I thought was just absolutely adorable was Ladybug Picnic. Excuse me. This is from Hands On Design. And as you can see, I already have it. I've kind of started the kitting process before I get it into a project bag. I actually kitted this with Dolomite, which it to me looks a lot like the pomegranate from Fabrics by Stephanie, but this was a new color that came out from Fiber on a Whim. This looks to me kind of like the pomegranate dunked in coffee, like primmed up some, and I kind of like the primmed up look a little bit better. I have stitched some Bent Creek ladybugs, and I've got a Longaberger basket that's a ladybug. I'll show that to you maybe next time. Let's see if I can get this stitched, and then I'll kind of show you. So this just fit right in with my ladybugs that I already have. So anyway, this one was super popular. We've sold a lot of it. Very cute. Obviously, gotta have the Good Cooks Happiness is Homemade Market Cookbook, which of course is also not only full of very cool recipes, but a lot of the designers and contributors also contributed, and I'll just, you know, some little stitches. Excuse me. I wanted to do this last weekend, but I have to tell you, I came back from Italy with a cold from the girls. They are, you know, grandkids are the gift that keep on giving from your kids. And the last 2 times that we've been there, one of them has had something and I have gotten it. So I'm still kind of getting over the residuals. I had to have the 3 new colors from Classic Colorworks, which are now available individually in the shop. The little kit things are now out of stock. I did take a class with Izzy from the Primitive Hair while I was there. It's the first time I've actually taken a class, and it was a lot of fun. I loved it, but the class that I took was for this Bell Frog purse. I'm very excited about this. I'll insert some pictures so that you can see pictures of the finished product that was being passed around the model in the class. And I think this could be one thing that I might stitch while I'm in recovery, because it's literally, you know, one thread and you're just filling in all that green so that you can turn it into this frog. But it's an old-fashioned, and you can see it comes with the little purse, you know, things at the top and everything. So I do have 2 or 3 extras of these kits if you're interested. And I will see about either putting those into the shop, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll have you contact me, something like that. But I do have 2 or 3 extras of the kits. Speaking of frogs, did everybody get Lily from Stacy Nash? I'm a frog collector, so as soon as I saw the frogs, I was pretty excited. She's just the sweetest, absolute sweetest. I'm also a bibliophile, and so an ode to libraries from Beth Twist of Heartstring Samplery was a favorite to me. And it says, the very existence of libraries affords the best evidence that we may yet have hope for the future of humanity. An ode to libraries. I love it. From Samplers and Prims was this Patriotic Bouquet. This one really appealed to me as well. Love this. I did get Gifts of the Season from Blackbird. There were 2 releases from Blackbird that had been previous exclusives and now are available for general. So Gifts of the Season. And Haunted Stitches. This is a cool, cool book from Izzy at the Primitive Hair. And I'll see if I can show you some of the projects. So this is cool. This is a needle book. Isn't that neat? And then the Black Cat. Let's see. Some of these might be a little tough to show because of the way the charts are. Here is, let me see, I'm not doing this very well. Just grab a piece of linen. This is cool. It says, not every witch lives in Salem. The good ones live here. That was pretty cool. I'm trying to get to the one, and I hope I can show you the one that I really was excited to see. I think this one's cool. Halloween Light. I've stitched her the Boo Tree, which is has been out for quite some time. It's been very popular, and this kind of reminds me of that. And I thought this one was really cool too. Spooky threads. So that's really neat. Most of these were stitched on like her Wicked Woods linen or Old Salem, which we have, you know, those in the shop if you're interested. But I think there are 7 or 8 designs in here, so it's a really good value. Very, very cool Halloween book if you're a Halloween stitcher. And last but not least, excuse me for just one moment. If you participated in the Jico Ball this last year, Beth Twist's son and husband are both doing woodwork of all kinds, and I had shown that I had gotten her little bobbin holder and 3 bobbins. You can see those. And so I, this spring, added the bunny bobbin. So I'm gonna pop one of these to the back and put my bunny up towards the front for the season. Look at that. It's so cute. I absolutely love these. So I got a new little bunny bobbin. And that's all I got for myself, you know, favorites. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I have one more. It's actually in a bag, which this will launch us right into whips, so I'll just go right to whips. But I have a bag, project bag, marked as the Fair series bags from October House Fiber Arts, and this was the Pear Fair, which came out at market, and I thought it was so cool. Green's my favorite color, so I love the greens in it. This is Pear Fair. And so I immediately put that into my Fair series bag. One of the other ones that I have in there that came out, I think last year or maybe in 2023, was Pumpkin Fair, which is pretty cool. I think this came out in fall of 2023. Excuse me, goodness, I'm so sorry. It's early in the morning and I haven't coughed out the stuff yet. And then, since those are in my Fair bag, I'll show you, I had a big finish this week, so I needed a small, and so I dug into my Fair bag, and I pulled out Strawberry Fair. Isn't that sweet? I believe this was her first of the Fair series to come out. Yeah, it was in 2022. And so I went ahead and started that one. So this is a current whip. I started it 2 days ago. And here's my start, my current progress. I think it's a very sweet design. Here are the threads. I'm using a combination of the called for and stash threads. I have quite a few color and cotton threads, so a lot of times I will just pull something from there to add, you know, to my pattern rather than having to have exactly the called for. And I'm stitching this on 40 count, I believe it's Little Bunny. Yeah, I'm sorry, Little Bunny. So again, it's stitching up really quickly. I did get started on the strawberry last night. That's probably going to be the hardest part. It's a little bit fiddly, but I'm loving it so far. And I think in between, when you do these, you know, these bigger whip finishes, it's nice to have like a little small to kind of cleanse the palette. But Pear Fair, which came out this year, was then, I guess, my last market fave to show you. So we had a good market. We brought back lots of goodies. I will be getting in replacements. I am hoping to be able to stock fairly soon Mason linen. I did bring home some Mason linen, but I did not get my full order. Unfortunately, for her, one of her boxes of inventory was lost in, FedEx world. Who knows, floating out in the ether. And so there were a few of us who had orders who were not able to get our orders, but I was able to get some things that she had in the room. That was sold almost immediately. And I have a very large order that, has been placed with her. And I'm hoping that, it won't take forever to get it in, but just letting you know. So we will be carrying some Mason linens. I don't know. I think it was just good to see everybody. We did it really quickly. It was just Adam and I, and we wanted to get back super quickly, and so we left early Sunday morning. We didn't even go down to visit or anything on Sunday morning like I usually do with, farewells and talking and whatever. we just took off. I knew I had a lot to do in about 10 days time, and then because we were then headed out to Italy, and so it's just, this whole last month has been very expedited. Everything has been boom, boom, boom. Okay, so that kind of goes through market, baby and trip. So we have a beautiful new little grandson. His name is Zaccheo Romeo, and that is the Italian pronunciation of those names, not Zaccheo and not Romeo. Romeo is the English pronunciation, but the Italian pronunciation of the Italian-based name is Zaccheo Romeo. He was 8 pounds, 4 ounces. Unfortunately, he did end up in the NICU for a few days, and so he was born on Monday, the 17th, so he's our little lucky lad. He's a St. Patrick's Day baby. Then we had thought they would be home then that Thursday, and then we scheduled and did arrive early Saturday morning, and unfortunately he and Brittany didn't get to come home until the following Thursday. So for the first 5 days we were there, we didn't get to see him, but we spent tons of time with the girls, and it was good that we were there because it allowed Paolo to be able to go back and forth in the hospital, and without having to worry about taking a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old with him. And we were able to watch the girls and spend time with them, and that was good too. So we only got like 4.5 days with Britton and Zaccheo, but anyway, he is doing extremely well. He was 4 weeks exactly yesterday, and he already is 11 pounds. So he is, like my daughter said, eating good in the hood. And he's just the sweetest little thing. He, in that first few days that, we were there with him, I mean, he wasn't a screamer. He didn't, he wasn't staying up all night. He was sleeping really well, and just such a sweet-natured little guy. So, and it breaks my heart a little bit that, we're not going to get to see him for this, kind of a really important months that are so full of change. So, even with the pictures that she's sending, I feel like he's just changing, before our very eyes. So, hopefully, we'll get to see them again. We're hoping maybe, for, a small family reunion in August. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so the stitching that I took with me to Italy was a lot of focus on stitching with Alaska, but I also did take a small, which I had shown you in my last video if you watched. I wanted to finish the spring basket because I was stitching on one of the basket cards. I was stitching from the Spring Parade set 1, and this is the one that I had just started. And so I was able to finish that, and I thought, you know, very cool. My intention was to stitch them separately and maybe just finish them as individuals. But then when I got going, I asked Alaska what she thought, and we decided we would actually do a little parade. So we finished, or I finished, the carrot car and launched into the basket car. And I'm almost finished with the basket car. So I got a finish on a prior whip and turned it back into a whip, but that's okay. Anyway, love this. Stitching it on 40 count paper bark from Fox and Rabbit. I think, yeah, here's a picture. So if you open this up, she shows them done individually here, and then she shows them actually stitched as a little parade. So you can kind of see. And then I rearranged a little bit because I had already done the car, because that's when I thought I was going to do them individually. So I had to do, you know, kind of rearrange the order they're in because my car is in the lead. And then I am doing spring here, and then I'll do the egg car here, welcome, so that it actually reads welcome spring. So that's why I have the order the way I have. So I'm going to do it like this and do it in a big parade. So, like I said, my little mini finish kind of turned right back into a whip again, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm still counting that little carrot car as a finish. Okay. So I did that. And then Alaska and I worked on this little animal alphabet series from Luhu Stitches. This is Allie Alpaca. And of course, Alaska, you know, A for Alaska. So she was very excited to see something that had her first letter and last letter of her name. I told her this is kind of the big A for Alaska and the little A for the last A. Of course, she has 3 A's. But anyway, so this was so cute, and she was excited. So I would stitch on it during the day while she was at school. And then the first thing she'd do when she would run in the door was, Grandma, how far are we? How far are we? And this is our finish. I posted a picture of her holding it on Instagram. Now, I did actually, this is on a 32 count Milk and Honey Lugana. Did actually let her hold the needle and go back and forth on a few of these stitches in different places. The black for his hooves, I think this pink. So I did an up on his ears. I let her help do his ears. So cute. And I talked to Brittany so we could decide what she wanted to do. If she wanted me to do the whole alphabet, because we have the whole alphabet, or just the letters for the kids' names. Here's D for Diana. This is Danny Dog, which is so cute. Now, Z for Zakeo has not released yet because Cindy Young from Luhu Stitches has only released the first half of the alphabet. The second set of letters released at market, and then of course in a little while she'll have the third section, and then finish it up with the final section. So I've got a little bit of time. So we've been talking about it and trying to decide, you know, how she would like to display. She kind of thought it'd be cute to have the three little, maybe finish as little pillows in a little basket. I don't know. So, but then Alaska wanted to do the whole alphabet so she could, A, B, C, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I told her we got some time. I'm going to go ahead and stitch D next. And then she's got time after that to decide if, she wants me to do all the letters in between. So anyway, so that was cute. I did find on Etsy a seller who has put together some really cute little beginning cross stitch. It's with Ada that's already in the hoop so that the hoop becomes the frame when it's finished. And then it's drawn on, there's like a little thing of flowers. There was like a little Valentine envelope that says love you. And you use like a big darning type needle. And then she had yarn. And you basically are teaching them going through the Ada holes, up and down. And Alaska was pretty excited, and I'll insert, some pictures as to the progress. We didn't finish everything because she wants to do things all on her own. So she's a highly intelligent little girl, and she's just sure that as soon as she sees something, she then knows how to do it, which a lot of the time, surprisingly, she can. But with that darning needle, obviously it's, it's pretty blunt, but she could still do some damage. So she has to do it with supervision. And so her mom is going to help her finish what we didn't do. So I think that's it from the progress and things that I took with me. Just prior to going to Italy, I did have a finish. And my finish was from Birds of a Feather, the Happy Heart Sampler. I was very happy to finish this one. This had come off of my whip list. And I stitched this on 40 count Old Massachusetts linen from the Primitive Hare. And here is my finish. I'm very pleased with how this came out. So I've got some framing to do for sure. So anyway, so I was very happy to have that finished. Let's see. When did I start that? I think I started it 2 years ago. So that's off of the whip list. So very happy about that as a finish. As I've talked about, my goal has been to get some of these whips off because I started with 54 or 55 whips for this year. It's just too many. Part of the problem is I just pick ginormous projects. I don't know why I do that, but then whenever you get one finished, they're just so beautiful. So had I filmed last weekend, I would not have had this finished, so it kind of worked out okay. I was able to finish Spring Quaker from Leela's Studio. Love this design. I've loved it since the minute I saw it at market a couple years ago. And here you go. Here's my finish. I'm very happy with this. So let me kind of go through. I did change up the Quaker thread color. So all the Quakers were, I believe, done in either roasted chestnut or brandied pear. So they were in like, medium browns. And so what I decided to do, because I wanted it to just be a little more, leaning towards spring, I decided to take some old purple paint from Gentle Art and capitalize on the fact that when you get some of the Gentle Art threads, you might not have matching skeins. And so I had a skein that really leaned like truly like dried paint. It was really kind of leaning more brown. So I had enough to do this motif and this motif and this motif in that kind of darker brownish purple color. And then the other skein I had, which truly was more the purple, I did these other motifs in. So I'm still getting the two colors the way that Leela had designed it, with two colors, complementary colors, but in more of the, what felt a little more springy to me in the purple. But I'm really, really pleased with it. I did do the interior line of the box a little different. I did two go arounds, and then I just did like little corners rather than up and down and a little sawtooth like she had it. I just kind of liked this a little better. So very happy with this. I know right where it's going to go on the wall as soon as I get it framed. And I'm really, really, really happy with it. I stitched this on 40 count porcelain by Lakeside. And I did substitute, like I said, substitute out the Quaker motifs with old purple paint. I used Classic Colorworks Ocean Swells for these instead of Shamrock by, I believe Shamrock was by Classic Colorworks. I think that's it. Everything else was, I think, the same, maybe. You know, I think I might have used a little darker red here rather than, I think called for Cherry Cobbler, which I did use on some, but then I think I grabbed another little more vibrant red, maybe licorice red or something like that. And I didn't write it down. I apologize, to kind of brighten that up just a little bit. But there it is. So happy with this. So happy with this. So it is ready to be framed. And it's going to go right up next to, I'm going to just show you. I have, if you've watched me for a while, you've seen me show this before, but I've had a lot of new subscribers, so I thought I would show this again. And I did show a picture on my Instagram this past Monday after I had gotten some decor switched out for spring and Easter time. And I did have somebody say, oh, what is this? And so I thought, well, I'll show this again. And my spring Quaker is going to get framed and go right next to this. This is Dreaming of Tulips from Rosewood Manor. But the pattern calls for all the tulips to be done in these reds that the big one is done in. And I just went to my thread wall and pulled out some beautiful colors that matched tulips that I actually have growing. Yellow tulips and persimmon colored tulips and some purple tulips. And so I just kind of made it match my garden. But it's a beautiful, beautiful chart. And this is Dreaming of Tulips. So I just thought I would show that again. And that's what my spring Quaker is going to hang next to. And a couple other things that I thought I'd just go ahead and show you while I had these things out. This was another cute design that I did. Did this with silky threads, which is how the design originally came out from Hands On Designs, called More Chocolate Bunnies. And she wanted everybody to try the sulky threads because if you stitch with those, this is 32 count, but you're stitching with only one sulky thread because it's a thicker fiber. And I wanted to do that, so I stitched that just to try, and I liked it. It was very nice. I'm a proponent of one thread if I can help get it in any way versus having to do 2 threads. But so cute. Another one that I just, pulled out. This is from Heart and Hand. And the name of it just went right out of my head. It's definitely from the Heart and Hand. No, good gravy. Anyway, I think it's just the cutest thing too. And I actually got very lucky and was able to get some of the flannel carrot fabric that she had the model finished with, and I finished it the same. Very cute. Leaping rabbit, leaping hare. I don't remember the name of this pattern. I'm sorry. Anyway, but I do know it's from Heart and Hand. Another really cute one from With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. Spring Parade, maybe? I don't remember the name of this one either. This is some of these I've stitched quite a while back. This was stitched on Havana linen. Very cute. And this one, this is also from Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. Easter Peep. Really pushing myself here. Some of these I've stitched quite some time ago. This is really a sweet one. I wish she would put this one back out for general release. Here's a theme going. This is the word play, April word play from With Thy Needle and Thread. This is my version. I didn't stitch the whole thing as it was charted. But I just wanted it to be a cute, sweet little pillow. And I think that's how it turned out. Just a very sweet little pillow. So this is the April word play, or my version of April word play. This is from Stacy Nash, the Velvet Parsnip. She has that finished as a needle book, and I just stitched it and had it finished as a pillow. It's a beautiful velvet, though, put onto the back of it. Oh, I really like this. Very sweet. But probably my all-time favorite bunny that I've stitched is B is for Bunny by Lottie Da. And I love this. I loved stitching. I still remember stitching it, and I stitched it really quickly because I just couldn't put it down. And I love everything about it, including the little over-one eggs in the basket. Just adorable. But that is it, for what I consider to be, spring or Easter related type stitching. So I'm very happy to add a few more things to my decor. And so there's previous finishes. I'm kind of all over the place. I apologize for that today. I'm kind of just showing you as one thing leads into another and keeping the flow going. Okay, I've got one last whip to show progress on. I wanted to do Sampler Spring. And I did finish, the Spring Quaker Sampler, which I'm happy about. I had started with Eliza Hill's Sampler, which is an old design that I was very lucky to come into possession of. If you can see that. And when I showed it to you last and I was starting it, I had done the green outline border, and I think maybe one little motif here in the corner. And this is where I am now. So this is the progress that I had made before I left for Italy. So this was from 1st of March to, we left on the 21st. So this is the progress. I don't know, but it's so early in the morning, it's not quite really great light yet, but here is my progress. So obviously I was able to finish the border, run up the side. I will say this is very fiddly confetti type stitching. If I go closer, can you see that better? It kind of distorts the color. And then there's a verse in here. I've picked out a poem that I'm going to insert. And so I just need to come down and around. But I made good progress, and that was kind of my plan, was to make, you know, good progress on some samplers. And I'm very happy with, you know, my progress so far. So that is it as far as any kind of whips that I've been working on. After I finish Strawberry Fair, I will pull out Humming of the Bees, because I need to get my April homework done on that one. And hopefully I'll be able to, I'm hoping I'll be able to do some stitching. While I'm, you know, recuperating. I know the first few days, probably nothing, obviously. But, you know, I'm hoping while I'm not working and just doing, you know, physical therapy, that I'll actually be able to do some stitching and maybe get some things finished. So I will try to do my Humming of the Bees homework. I kind of have stalled a little on Dwelling Place because I brought my border down around to the bottom, and I had missed, there's a little, in that design of that border, there's like a little 2-stitch thing that you have to do, and very frustrating. I missed one of those 2-stitch things, so now I'm going to have to rip out like 4 or 5 of the little humps in the border, which is very annoying. It irritated me, and I kind of shelved it for just a little bit. So, but I do need to get it out and get it finished, because I'm the last of the 3 of us to have it finished, and so I need to get that done. Let's see, what have I got here? Okay, just going to show you some real quick haul. I belong to the Scattered Seed Samplers Club, and this was the first installment for this year. And this is called Nesting Together Pin Keep. I think it's absolutely adorable. Tammy does just a beautiful job on her kits. They're not super expensive, really sweet. I did pick out a little different fabric for it than what she has included. I think she has Vintage Country Mocha. I'm not a fan of that. I love the look of it, but I'm not a fan of stitching on it. So I actually did pull out some Thornfield from Needle and Flax, and so I've got that into my kit as a replacement. And I'm going to put that over to my Spring Smalls bag. I did order in Jessie Challenor from the Attic by Hands Across the Sea Samplers. I ordered both silk conversions from Vicki Clayton. So I got a huge thing of spools, and I'm going to probably stitch somewhere in between. There are things that I love about both. So we'll see. Stay tuned. We'll see. Anyway, so got that. Come in from the Attic. New release, and this is the final in the Quaker series now for Leela. So I'm finally happy to have spring done, so I can actually start one of the others. I probably will go to, you know, maybe summer next, or who knows, maybe I'll start with this one. This is Peace on Earth, and it's her winter Quaker, and it is absolutely adorable. I love it. I'm a big fan of Leela. 2 more things that I purchased here. I did get from Crochet A Go-Go this spring basket. I think it's really sweet. And of course, these are downloads, PDF downloads. So there's that one. And then I finally pulled the trigger, and I'll tell you why, to get a peacock, unicorn, and a badger. And the reason why is because I buy a lot of fabric from number 12 Stitch Co. And she in her store a couple of weeks ago had this beautiful woodland pine. And when I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness, that would actually entice me to stitch this without having to stitch the background. So I think it's the perfect color. It's going to match beautifully. And so at some point, I'm going to actually launch into starting a peacock, unicorn, and a badger. Probably not for a little while yet. I've got an awfully big whip list. But I think that's, oh, I did purchase a couple of bags. I had gotten the red box from this year from Nicola from Hands Across the Sea, and it's called All Things Bright and Beautiful. And so I did purchase the bag that goes with it from Barry of Stitch Folk. And so this beautiful bag came. Look at that fabric, is gorgeous. Isn't that so pretty? So I got that to go with my box. And then I had to buy this bag from Tara at StarryOwlStitchery. She's my go-to lady for bags, and I just absolutely love this for beautiful spring and summer stitching. Gorgeous. So check out Tara's bags, StarryOwlStitchery. She lists them every Sunday afternoon. Okay. Let me check my handy dandy list. Oh, so not haul, but a gift. I have a very lovely customer who places her market order through me and different orders, and we've chatted back and forth. I've finally gotten to know her a little bit. Her name's Ashley. She sent me a little care package for me to have for my recovery time from surgery, with some teas and a book, which I'm very happy to. I had not read this particular Kristen Hanna book, and so she sent me that and a gift card and just a lovely get well card, just really very sweet. And I want to just make sure that I say thank you to her, also in a public way, even though I know that she didn't do it for, you know, public fanfare. I just think it was just the sweetest thing for her to do. So I just wanted to make sure I acknowledged that publicly. Okay, last thing. People have been asking, have I chosen what I'm going to do for this year's Hollis's Summer Holiday Sal? If you are not familiar, for 4 years in a row, I stitched a Plum Street Samplers Rhode Island inspired sampler. She had the Heritage Sampler, a New Constellation, the Equality Sampler, and the Mayflower. Was it called the Mayflower? The fourth one, the last one. And I would start them on Memorial Day with the goal of finishing by Labor Day, and I have done that. Then last year, I did not have one of her samplers to be able to stitch, and so I picked a Liberty's Welcome and started that, and that's when we decided to launch the Sal. And so many of you joined me, and I'm so happy you did. It seemed to go really well, and whether you finished or not, maybe you were able to make some great progress, and that's kind of the point. So this year, I've had people asking, what are you going to do? And I had shown you that I was considering stitching the 1776 sampler from Hello America. Well, I changed my mind, and I'll tell you why. while I love this sampler and have a fabric already picked for it, next year's the 250 anniversary for this country. So 1776 to 2026. And so I decided, I think that that one will be the perfect launch for next year, July 4th. And so I went through all my things, and I have this kitted and have had it for quite some time. And I thought, you know, this is crazy. I'm gonna have to stitch this. So American Welcome is what I'm going to start on Memorial Day, with the goal of finishing by Labor Day. It is 173 by 146, so it should be very doable. Mind you, you know, it's a palette, right? So it's got some dense stitching. All that ocean and grass is all solid, but I think I can do it. And this is what I'll be stitching. I hadn't originally thought that I would start it yet until I finished Live on Little. And I was at both of these retreats where this was originally released, so I've had these for quite some time with no reason whatsoever why they shouldn't be finished. Here's my progress on Live on Little. So I am going to, you know, get this back out and also work on this as well. And wouldn't that be something if by, you know, whatever the day in September Labor Day is, first Monday, I have both of those finished? I would be super thrilled. So that means I may not be doing any other kind of stitching this summer, but that's what I'm going to be doing. So if you are going to participate, that would be fantastic. I will probably see you once before that launches, but again, for making your plans, getting your threads together, Hollis's Summer Holiday Sal, if you want to go ahead and, you know, start posting what your start's going to be, that would be great. And I look forward to seeing those. I will post my start now that I've told you all here. I will post what I'm going to be stitching, and I'm excited to see what everybody else is picking. You know, it doesn't have to be one thing. Maybe it's a series of smalls, you know, something that you want to give yourself a start and finish date if possible. And if you're not able to finish, that's okay. Maybe you just are able to make some significant progress. So let's see. Do I have anything else? I don't think so. I think the last thing that I'm going to do is I've got a few giveaways, and they are from, I did purchase the Advent box, Kitten Stitcher Advent box from this past holiday season. And as I was finally emptying out the box and going through, there's definitely, and there were a lot of, you know, what, 24 items in there, something like that. So I thought, you know, there are a few of these that I know I'm not going to stitch, so I'm going to share them with you. One of them is Melina Gambé from Le Reflet au Soir. And if you are a fan of stitching red letters, this one is for you. So in your comment, please say red stitching or red letters, something that indicates this monochromatic alphabet. Okay, so red letters. I'm going to write that down. So when I'm searching, I will know what I'm searching for. Reflet au Soir. Okay. The next one is Running with Needle and Scissors, Ho Ho Ho, which is this set of 3 little pillows. While this is my favorite type of Santa, the like 50s, 60s Happy Santa is what I call them. I just don't think I'll stitch them. So I'm going to share them. So on this one, Ho Ho Ho, easy enough. And the next one is the Season's Greetings row from Bent Creek. There are a few of these rows that I really do love. The Trick or Treat row is one of my favorites. Stars and Stripes Forever. But I just don't think I will stitch this season's greetings row. So for this one, let's just say row. R-O-W. And this one from Primitive Hair, Miss Flora Fanny Flax. And I think she's a fox. Yeah, Miss Flora Fanny Flax. So on this one, you can say Flora Fanny. There's no limit. You can put your hat in the ring for all four if you like. Anyway, but please do not say giveaway or freebie, anything like that. We want to make sure that when I'm doing the search that someone who really wants to stitch these is going to get them. And you have to be 18, of course, because you're going to have to give me your address. And I think that's it. I will be back sometime, I would imagine, in May. Probably, maybe, it could be mid-May, I'm not sure. But I definitely will be back sometime in May and sometime before Memorial Day. So I hope I've covered everything. I do want to say thank you to Chrissy, Finally a Farm Girl, for her assistance in helping me choose American Welcome. She and I were chatting back and forth as to what we thought we were going to do. She stitched Liberty's Welcome with me last year, and she's just such a sweetheart. I love Chrissy, and so she kind of helped me kind of talk through, so I wanted to say thanks to her. And I believe that's everything on my list. I always tend to later think, oh, I should have said something, but anyway, if I missed something or I didn't do a shout out or something like that, I'm so sorry, and I will catch it next go around. Anyway, it's been an hour, so I need to get to work now. And thank you so much, and I will see you soon. Remember to create every day. Bye-bye now.